Hey friends, so a lot of the questions I've been getting have to do with kind of our basic everyday life here in Costa Rica. So I felt like I would share a little bit about that on my YouTube channel so that if you're interested you can check it out. And I know there's a lot of people who are considering moving either to Costa Rica or another country or just wondering what it's like, and so hopefully this will give you just a little peek into what our daily lives are here. So Costa Rica is wonderful because they have so many organic farms, and even their non-organic farms, they tend not to use as many pesticides, and they treat their animals differently as far as hormones and antibiotic usage. There's much less in the United States, which is great. But we're lucky enough to learn about this organic farm that delivers once a week all around our area in Veggie, so kind of the southern Pacific zone here. The farm is up in the mountains near San Isidro, Perez de Ladon area, but they deliver once a week, and they bring all kinds of awesome stuff. So everything you see here on the table, not the microwave, is what I got from them today, and I'll show you a little bit of what it is. But just so you know, like all this food, including I got 40 organic eggs from their free-range chickens. All this food cost me about $52 for all this organic produce and the eggs. They also sell organic chickens, and the menu's mostly the same for the year, because other than how much it rains, the temperature doesn't necessarily change that much. There are some seasonal fruits that come in and out, and some things that leave, obviously, but since they're up in the mountains, it's a little bit more temperate. But so some of the things that we got here, these are vainicas largas, or long beans, and if you can tell, they are all the way around the bag here, so they are really long beans. I've never had these before coming to Costa Rica, but I got 2 bags of these, and if I don't eat them all myself, then I cook them for the puppies. What else? Obvious stuff here. We've got bananas on the stalk. So this is the best way to get bananas here. You know, some people think we're silly for buying bananas when you can just like walk around and see some banana plants in the jungle, or a lot of people have them in their yard. But they're so cheap and they're so delicious, these little bananas. So I usually ask for like 4 to 5 ripe ones, and you can see these are almost ripe. They'll be ripe tomorrow. And then I ask for a small stalk, because if you get a big stalk, it's literally like 100, 150 bananas. And the best thing about the stalk is that they start to turn yellow from the bottom up, so kind of slowly you get more and more bananas as you eat them, and then of course we freeze the extra for smoothies. The only thing you have to watch out for is banana spiders, because they do hide in between the bananas. What else? So we've got some cilantro for seasoning, of course, and for making ceviche. What do we have in this bag here? And sometimes they bring things in little bags or in little crates, and then I just give them back to them as they come. You can see they like to recycle, so here's a bunch of organic cherry tomatoes that they just put in a cut Coke bottle, and I just keep them like this in the fridge, and then give this back to them at the end of the week, trade it out, so that we can keep reusing. Oh, okay, so in this bag we've got organic red bell peppers, and they're a little bit longer than the ones in the States, but they taste the same. And I mean, if you shop at Whole Foods and buy an organic red bell pepper out of season in the States, it's what, like $4.99 per pepper. So I get like 2 to 3 bags of these peppers for like $3. It's amazing. So I got some peppers. I got less this week just because Ben's gone out of town. I have some organic bok choy. I use it in my stir fries, and I also cook it, steam it, blend it for the puppies so that they can have some vegetables in their food. They like the bok choy because it's not too strong. I love green onions, and they have really big green onions here in Costa Rica, so I always get a full bag of these. Cucumbers, also more expensive in the States, super cheap here. I only got 2 bags this week, which may seem like a lot to you. It's like 12 cucumbers, but I'm sure I'll crush them in like 5 days. If Ben's here, we have to get like 4 or 5 bags, because he'll eat like 3 to 4 cucumbers a day, just raw, like just whole, huge bite out of it. He's crazy. All over the table, I've got all kinds of limes. And one cool thing about the Costa Rican limes is these little ones, the lime limes, limones. When you cut them, they are orange inside, but they taste like regular limes. It's much juicier. And then these larger ones are zacate lemons, or zacate limones, but they're more like the United States lemons. They're white or slightly yellow inside, a little bit more tart. I actually like the limes better, so I always get more of the limes. We have a bag of turmeric. So this is whole turmeric root. The first time I got it, I was like, oh my god, what are those crazy little bugs? But they look a little gross, but they're really cool. I chop them up and put them in stir fries. I also like to freeze them and put chunks in my smoothie. It's curcumin or turmeric, and it's really good for you. And I think it's delicious. Some people think it's a really strong flavor, but I love it. My favorite, we've got 2 bags of green and purple organic basil. So that's really important for all my salads. If you guys watch my breakfast videos, you know that I love to put that under my eggs as well, just fresh basil, and to mix it in with my kale and cabbage salads. I've got the eggs, which I already showed you. This is a bag of kale, and the kale here is fabulous. It's usually a mix of dino kale, so that's this curly kale here, or I'm sorry, that's the non-curly kale here. It's still a little curly, but it's spelled dino kale. And then there usually is some actual curly kale. Let's see if I can find some. Here we are, curly kale. So huge bag, which is about $7 or $8, but totally worth it. And it's all washed and everything, which is great. And then I do believe these are more peppers. And then I've got a pineapple, of course, because when you're in Costa Rica, why not get a pineapple? We usually get some sweet potatoes too, but I have some from last week. They just started selling some beautiful pink salt here, so I buy salt from them too. But yeah, that's kind of what I get every week. Usually about another third or even 50% more, just because Ben's usually here or we have someone visiting. And then there's a farmer's market tomorrow that we go to, and maybe I'll show you guys my haul from that tomorrow. But yeah, pretty much between the farmer's market and this food, and then there's a little organic store up in Dominical, the town about 15 minutes north. That's where we get most of our food. There is a little grocery store, it's called the Veggie. There's 2 of them actually here in Ubita, and you can find mostly everything you need. Some things are really expensive, some things are not. You know, fruits and veggies are always pretty cheap. Meat's not that expensive, eggs aren't that expensive. It's more things that are processed, like cereals or like weird candy bars and stuff. Those are really expensive because Costa Rica has a heavy import tax. But anyway, just wanted to show you guys a little bit about daily life here, and I'll start uploading these videos as well as some real-time tutorials and all kinds of fun stuff on this channel, so stay tuned.